Good morning, good afternoon, depending on the time zone you are in. This is Vid Hoffman speaking. Welcome to our webinar about news related to Sentinel LDK Release 8. We will be talking about the news, about the new features which this release brings. And we are estimating that the webinar would last for about 1 hour. I would like to introduce two speakers for the current webinar. The first one will be Hemi Ramon, speaking about the introduction about our business in software licensing. And the other one will be Szekely, who will be talking about technical features. At the end, you will have a chance to ask questions. So please, if you have questions, use the chat box in the tool, and we will be answering all the questions at the end. So again, welcome. And now I would like to hand over to Hemi. So Hemi, you can start. Thank you.
Thank you, Vid. I would like to start with an overview. Then we'll get to talk about the actual new features of Sentinel LDK version 8. We are now Thales. Some of you know us as other earlier companies. These days we are part of Thales. Thales is a pretty big company, 80,000 plus employees, more than 19 billion euro sales, and very significant investment in research and development. Thales is working in several markets. The first one is defense, selling solutions to militaries. Another one is ground transportation with solutions such as controls to railways and to trains. Next one is aerospace, solutions to aviation, also to civil aviation. Another market is the space market with solutions for satellites and space stations. And then the digital identity and security division, which is the part which is formerly Gemalto. Many of you know this as Gemalto, and the entire Gemalto fits into this digital identity and security business. Within this group, we have the software monetization. In the software monetization, we are 450 people globally who serve software and device vendors. Software vendors, some of you are software vendors, and some of our customers are device vendors where the main part of the intellectual property is in software. There are several parts to our solutions, to software vendors and to device vendors. The first one is security related. We help our customers to ensure that their products are secure, and we help them to prevent piracy. And the second part is about licensing and usage tracking. We help our customers to make sure that they are getting paid to every license that they sell. In other words, that they are getting paid for the contract that they sign with their customers, that they get money for the terms as they agreed and from all the users that they agreed with. This part has to do with the application side, with your product. And then we have a very significant part, which is the entitlement management solution. This is the back office part. This is where our customers are managing their licenses. They can associate their product list with their customers, which customer received which products, which customer is entitled to an upgrade, which customer can be a good potential for an upsell. Next part is consulting and services. We have a pretty big consulting and services group. Consulting mainly goes to mid-size and large companies where we help them understand their needs for licensing. How can they get more money from their customers? How can you control better your business model? How can you improve the business that you do through a more sophisticated business model? And then how everything fits into your organization. In larger companies, this can be a pretty complex task, and our consulting group is specializing exactly at this. And then there is the services component, which is involving professional services to help in implementation. And there are some additional services that we will also talk about later in this webinar. Specifically in this webinar, we are going to focus on Sentinel LDK because we have now a new release, version 8 of Sentinel LDK. Sentinel LDK is focusing mainly on mid-size companies where ease of use is important, companies that are looking for a solution which is typically out of the box. And LDK is designed to address exactly these needs and the needs of this kind of customers with the ability to choose for multiple protection keys. The first one is a hardware key, Sentinel HL, the traditional dongle-based locking type, which we have for many, many years, and many of you are still using. It has some advantages. For example, it provides the highest level of security. It is easily portable between computers or between machines. Then the second one is Sentinel SL. This is a software locking where the license is locked to the computer of the end user. It has some advantages. For example, delivery is not requiring delivering any physical goods, and if your software is delivered online, it can be a major advantage. It also has some disadvantages. For example, the ability to lock to a virtual machine is there. There is plenty of investment there related to virtual machines, but the security level when you try to lock to a virtual machine is never great. And then we have the new edition, Sentinel CL. This is cloud licensing, and Sentinel CL provides a new capabilities that we will talk in much more details and demonstrate today in this webinar. In a few words, this is the ability to lock to an identity of the user rather than to a computer. There are two main advantages to cloud licensing. One, in the context of virtual machine, if your license is locked to an identifier of the user and you decided to enable only one instance, for example, of your software to run, then even if the software is installed by the user in multiple instances of a virtual machine, only one can work at a time because the license is granted from a cloud server. And the cloud server controls who is accessing the license at any point. So cloud licensing is probably the best solution available for virtual machine environments. Another major advantage for cloud licensing is that the cloud license represents the user, as I said. Many users today own more than one device. Many users has a laptop, a computer in the office, possibly another computer at home, sometimes a tablet, and so on. When you sell to your customer a license to the software, these days it became more and more common that you actually sell the license to the user rather than to the computer, which means that if you use cloud licensing with LDK, you can actually associate the license with the user, and the user can run it on one of these devices at a time. Once he logs out from the device, he can log in to the software, to your software, in another one of his devices. As long as it's the right identifier of the user, then you know that the right user is using your software, and there is no piracy involved on one hand and no overuse involved as well. So these are the two main advantages of cloud licensing. Now, how can we, in this period, without mentioning Corona, then especially in this period, everybody pretty much learned that delivering physical goods sometimes can be challenging. Now, if you deliver software and your software can be consumed or delivered online, and you had to deliver a physical key, it probably was a challenge for you now during the Corona period. It was a challenge for you when it comes to accepting the shipments from us if your operations team did not work in the office. It was probably a challenge to ship it to your customers, and your customers probably also experienced some challenges if they left, for example, the key in the office, and then one day when they woke up in the morning, they were told that they are not allowed to go to the office. Or if they had to share a key between users, meaning that one user is using the software with the key, and then when he's done in the office, he used to give the key to another user. These days, this is not possible. Sentinel LDK version 8 is released right at the right time with cloud licensing, because in addition to the software-based licensing, now cloud licensing provides an additional option to solve exactly these challenges that are now emphasized in with the crisis of the Corona. For you, it is much easier to deliver. You could keep selling and deliver had you used our software-based licensing, and with even better with the cloud licensing. Another part for you that we will talk about in this webinar, and is also new with version 8, is the ability to use LDK EMS, the entitlement management system, as a service. Up until today, we only sold it in LDK on premise, that you had to run the servers and so on. From now on, you can also buy it as a service, which means that we will take care of this, and this becomes a cloud solution, which obviously eliminates your IT, the need of your IT to maintain the servers, to sometimes get to the office if needed, and so on. For your customers, it's also a major advantage because they don't need to get to their office to get a key. They don't need to even log in with cloud licensing. They don't need to even log into their network to grant a license. This can be done online through the cloud, which means that the solution becomes easier. Your solution, your product becomes easier to consume, easier to use, more reliable to use with this model of licensing. With this, I want to transfer the control to Robbie, who will guide you through the actual features of LDK 8.
Thank you, Hemi, for the introduction, and also thank you for putting our LDK 8.0 release into the context of the current situation we are facing. So thank you, and Robbie, I think you can start with the technical part.
Thank you very much, Vit. Thank you very much, Hemi. Yes, I would like now to go in details into the Sentinel LDK latest release, which is the 8.0. We will go through 3 major advantages of the new 8.0 LDK version, and we will touch also some other smaller features that are also coming with the new release. The LDK as a service, this is what just Hemi talked about, a service for new and existing customer, which is replacing the vast IT efforts of the software vendors. The Docker's support, which is now increased, and it's give you a cost reduction and increased efficiency, easy deployment, and various OS types such as Linux, Windows, Mac, and of course the cloud supports. And the very new feature which Hemi talked about, which really changes the user experience and the vendor experience as well, which is the most important, of course, for all of us, is to consume license from anywhere and deploy licensing anywhere. It can be on your premise or any known cloud vendors such as AWS, GCP, Azure, LDK Cloud, and so on. Let's see now what we are giving in the LDK as a service. So as an LDK as a service, there are 4 major areas that give advantages. First of all, on the availability side, we give high availability, which means continuity in recovery, regional high available configuration, automatic failover, and then ongoing data backup. This is something that until now your IT had to take care, and it's a very, as you know, a lot of effort has to be invested in, and this is now available as a service. The quality of service that we are giving is at least 99.5 SLA. We have monitoring guys that 24/7 giving you the service and monitoring what's happening. A monthly service pack release, which means that you don't have to follow up what are the new patches, what new packs that's coming up. We are continuously updating via the service your license management system with the latest version. So you are always at your top level security and top level licensing methods. The infrastructure is scalable, which means that, again, you don't have to plan ahead the infrastructure with your IT team. You don't have to invest into it. But as your customer base is growing, this is something that's scalable automatically. From security point of view, there is an auto data backup and snapshot. So anything happens, there is also the possibility to go back. You always have the backups. Automatic patch installation of security patches. So anything discovered by other vendors or by us on the market, these patches will be installed automatically, seamless to you, to make sure that you always have the most secure level in your application. Access control to see who is accessing the system, when and from where, and you have the control to disconnect users, to allow or disallow any session online. And of course, we are complying with all the industry and corporate standards such as the ISO, the SOC 2 Type 1 and Type 2, and GDPR. The service environment, as we mentioned previously, is based on AWS. The service that we are giving, it gives a very, very quick deployment and dedicated Thales expertise in a global support of 24/7 availability. So if I want to conclude in highlights what the managed service gives versus on-premise, on service vendor administrated solution, is that the automatic new version and service packs installed, the scalability, the high availability, backup, recovery plan, service monitoring, and on. You don't have CapEx costs related to internal infrastructure, only OpEx, and help you to increase also your hardware according to the needs, and you don't have to plan or invest into it ahead. No need for operating system maintenance, patches, and other things. That is also taken care of by the service. Security as well managed by Thales Managed Service team, and a worldwide access from any remote team without your IT dependencies. The second topic I would like to touch is the Docker support with the LDK. And first, let's see what are the Dockers, because this is something that, as you know, this is the new trend for deploying applications. This is something that lately most of the software vendors are switching to, because it has a lot of new features and enable you a lot of new and faster deployments and easier development versus the old way or the traditional way. So Docker is an open platform for developing, shipping, and running application. Docker enables you to separate your application from the infrastructure, so you can deliver the software quickly, regardless on the OS, regardless on the hardware and infrastructure type. The container, which is give the Docker the ability to package and run the application in a loosely isolated environment called the container. The isolated and security allow you to run many containers simultaneously on a given host. Thanks to the container, the developer can rest assured that the application will run on any other machine, regardless of any customized settings that the machine might have. It means actually that all the configuration is done inside the container, and it not depends anymore on the operating system and the infrastructure of where the Docker is running on. So it means that the applications are separated, which also increase, of course, the security between them. Each application for its own, the applications running in different containers cannot reach each other. They cannot reach the also the different resources of the other application. So it's very high security, very fast deployments, and it gives you a much easier way to maintain your software. Because of those, you have a vast cost reduction. You need fewer resources to run the same application as it was on physical servers on VM, reducing the infrastructure cost to employee and employee time to need to maintain them, because you don't have now to test your software anymore in all the different kind of infrastructures and different kind of operating systems. It makes your R&D team working more efficiency, because all dependencies inside the container, which remove the need for building and testing installers and decreasing time from build to production. Less time spent setting up environments, debugging environment-specific issues, and a more portable and easy to set up code base. As I mentioned on the previous slide, the application isolation also increased the security, because the Docker containers cannot access processes running inside other containers or their resources, so they are totally separated from each other. Each application uses resources that have been assigned to them and only to them. Improved deployment for the users as well, because it's portable. The portability is supported in Amazon Web Services and Google compute platforms, Microsoft Azure, and OpenStack. It removes the need to install and configure separately. It allows rapid deployment, a Docker image to be deployed in seconds, and you don't have to wait anymore for the OS boot time. As an LDK, we are supporting 3 different scenarios for the Dockers. The first scenario, when a standalone hardware license key is connected to the host machine and shared with one container at a time. So the dongle, the hardware key, is logged on the host machine, and the Docker container can communicate with the HL key and give the licensing and the security for the container. The second option is using an HL or a software key with concurrency on a remote machine or a Docker host, which means that it not necessarily has to be on the Docker host itself. It can remotely accessed by more than one Docker at a time. And it can be also software or license key. And the third option is when a software key on the host and shared with containers, which means that the software key is sitting on the host machine, but several Docker containers can reach this software key and share the license between them according to the rules that you create for this software license. Now, the last topic that I would like to mention, and this topic will something that we will also demo it after the slides, is the cloud licensing. As Hemi described, in nowadays, it's very important that the licensing will be to give very flexible mode of licensing to access the license from various places, from home, from the office. And the LDK options up to 8, we had 2 standard ways: the standard license manager, which is the traditional way of managing licenses on local machines, or we had the network license manager, which is also traditional ways when you want to manage your license on a network. Now, the new feature, which is the Cloud License Manager, give you the possibility to deploy your license and enable the license to be accessed via the cloud service. Excuse me. The new LDK runtime is extended to support to this client licensing. It means that there is no need anymore for the ISV. It's no need to anymore to manage your license on your premises. This new feature also coming in a very easy to implementing way. To implement it, there's no need for the software vendors to change the code. The same APIs that you used can be used. It just has to be updated. There is no compromise on security. The envelope that we used before and we have is fully supported also in the license, in the cloud licensing. It can be used via your cloud system on premise, or it can be also managed on AWS or Ali Cloud or any other cloud services. And the changes which now managed a new attribute is the identity string. And this is the string that actually now recognize the end user instead of using the traditional way of a fingerprint, if it was a software license, or the physical dongle that we had before, and which is, of course, will be supported also in LDK 8. This is very important, as Hemi mentioned, when you want to give the flexibility to your end users to work from various places, to consume the license from home, from the office, or from different devices. Now the license is actually attached to the user itself with an identity string and not to the machine that he's using. Of course, there is a security question that, okay, what happens if our user sharing this identity string with other users, and maybe they can now more users can consume the same key. But in order to prevent this to happen, the license manager for each key allows only one session at a time. So it means that different users still have to purchase different keys. So this workaround is not enabled. The advantage to use the new LDK Cloud Licensing, as we said, it's the mobility to consume the license from anywhere without the need of transferring any physical device, such as hardware key, or without rehosting the software license, which is a procedure that you had to make. Now it's almost seamless for the end user. Just to update the identity key, and that's all. We will see it in a few minutes in a live demo. The VM solution and the Docker solution, which was a kind of a problem with the old way, because cloning of Dockers and VMs, it cannot be secured in 100%. It was not an easy task to prevent actually reuse more than one license in parallel. Now with the method that we're using an identity string, and this identity string can be used only in one session at a time, it means that it's now agnostic, the use of VM solution or Dockers, and it makes now very easy to support those environments. It is very, very easy for the software vendors to implement it without compromising, of course, the security. There is no any need to change your code, just replacing the license API library, and that's all that you have to do. And of course, set the identities that we will see in a moment. It's very easy also for the end users, and this is, I think, that what is the most important for all of us, since the end user experience, this is the main keywords what everyone is looking in those days now for. You want to give the best experience to your customers, so it's very important that it's very, very easy to consume the licenses. And still, you have full control over those licenses. You can control the end users, even if they are already connected. You can see from where they are connected, for how long the session is on, and so on. So you have a full control. You can disconnect or disable licenses anytime. So you have a full control on your licenses and on your end users. There are a few additional features that I would like to mention beyond the three main topics that we talked about. The first one is the envelope enhancements that now giving a better solution for Python applications. Now we are supporting the .NET Core 3 for Windows and Linux, and .NET Core 2 for Linux. As well, we are supporting now the Delphi for AOC and Java 11. For the admin control center, now we are supporting HTTPS, so it's a secure way now to approach the ACC. We have support now for APIs and envelope for Android 10 version. Admin mode support for Linux ARM64. We can give now unlimited activations from entitlements. And on the AGL key, we have an extended memory to 392 kilobytes, and this is coming with the new AGL, what we call the Simba keys. So now you have a much bigger memory that you can consume for your software, which give you much more possibilities. This maybe later on will increase also for the software license. This is something that still in work this year. The new admin control center functionality is, of course, related to the admin identity string, where you are managing your end user licenses. So the vendor can use the ACC to produce identity string for clients authentication, enable, disable identities for clients dynamically. The ACC on the client side supports to add the identity string, so they can reach those licenses on the cloud. It can be also from one cloud server or even more different cloud servers. So if you have, if you are giving to your customers more than one product, and the client server and the cloud server is different for those products, then there is no need to manage it separately in the same access control center. You can manage that. We will see it in the demo. Limited access to specific licenses, so you can restrict access for clients to specific license based on the license ID, which is also very important in order to make sure that you are controlling the security and the license consumption. Using admin control center or on a client machine to generate a fingerprint for SL key, which means that there is no need to use the RUS application that we supplied and used before. Now it can be done via the admin control center, which is a web-based application and much easier and much more comfortable way for your end users. And as we mentioned, the HTTPS support to improve the security communication channel between the client and the server. Here we can see a few slides of how it looks like, but I think that the better if I'm just switching to the live demo itself. So first, I would like to show how it looks like from the server side, from the license server side, and then I will show it how your end user will see it and how easy to use it and how easy to control it. So once you installed the runtime environment on your cloud environment, you can go to the configuration and go to the client identities, and here where you can actually create the identity strings for your users. It's very easy. Just click on the add user and you can give a name, and you can copy this string. This will be the string that you will have to give to your customer. This is the identity which is specific for one user. You can allow or disallow remote login access to the license server. You can allow or disallow detach access. Detach access is a possibility when you want to enable to your user to consume this license even when they are not connected to the internet. And you can specify for how long you want to allow this in a configuration screen, which means that, for example, if your customer has to go out of the office with his laptop or out of home with the laptop without internet control, he can detach the license. It means that this license is counted, so never any other user cannot consume if you are the same license, and it's an open session. And when your customer is coming back, your end user is coming back to the office or and connected to the system, you can log in and attach the license again to the license server. Or if the specific time passed, for example, 1 day or 2 days that you let your customer using the license detached from the license manager, if it's passed, then the license will automatically disable on the client machine and will be available again from the license manager in the cloud. You can limit the license to a specific product or to a specific key ID, or you can allow it to use for any other IDs without restriction. And you can also control the number of the machines that the user can use and consume this license. So, for example, if you know that the customer has an iPad, a laptop, and a home computer, then you can restrict the usage for those three machines or more, or you can give an unlimited use. Again, there is no problem or no fear that if you are giving to your customers an unlimited use regarding the number of machines, there is no fear that your customer can share this identity string with other users so they consume more, because once anyone else is logged in the session, this identity string cannot be used at the same time. So there is no why someone should share the identity that he has. So once you created this new key, then it appears now as an available string and you can reuse it. That's all what you have to do in your license manager part. Then from the end user part, you have to go, the end user has to go to the configuration screen in the ACC. As you see, this is on the local machine, okay, and just add the string that you send to him. It can be sent via email, for example, and it just add the string here. As I mentioned, there can be more than one license manager viewed by the end user. Yeah, that's all. Once the customer added the string, just submitting it, and then if we're going to the Sentinel keys, which is approachable now from this client, you can see that we can see this screen, this cloud server, where we just add. The customer can see what are the different features that he can use inside this product. Those are the available features that this license provides to the end user. So I can demonstrate the use of it with a very small application, just to see how it looks like. So as we can see, we have here feature 100, 200, and 300 available for this license. So if I'm going just to check it, if I'm going for another feature, 555, and I'm trying to log in, I'm getting an error, feature not found, which means that this feature in your application cannot be consumed and cannot be used by your customer. If it's going to an enabled one, and I'm trying to log in, now the status is okay, and the license now is being used by this customer. We can see also here in the license manager, in the license access control center, we can see that now there is one login for feature 100. And also if I am going now back to the server side, we can see that there is an active session for this license actually, and we can see actually from where that this license is logged now and from which customer, and we can get additional details for this session. Now I would like to demonstrate the detach option. What we can do, we can set, usually it's not set by the end user, it's usually set by the administrator, but in this example, the end user also, can set what is the number of the days that he would like to use this license detached from the license server. I am asking to detach it, and now I know that I would like to detach it, so I can log out, and the next time I'm logging in, I know I'm not connected actually to the license server. Okay, I'm in an offline mode. Of course, I cannot demonstrate it to you because then I will disconnect it from the net. But what we can see in the license, we can see now that this little arrow here, which tells us that this license now consumed by a detached machine, and it's not connected now to the license manager. So now you can use your software, or the end user can use the software without having connection to the internet or to the license server. Once the customer finished his offline work, now he can come back and just log out. And when next time he's logging into the server, he can now ask to return the license to the license manager. We can see that now the offline license, the detached license, is disappeared from control center, and it can be now available for use again. So this is, as you can see, it's a very, very easy way to use it. It's very easy for the end user to consume license. It's just an identity string that you have to create for your customer and to pass it to your customers. Of course, on the administration control center, you always have the possibility to see the sessions and to see who is controlling and who is accessing right now your applications, which is very important to see. So this is just the short demo that I wanted to show you. And now we have still now 10-15 minutes to answer questions. So I am returning now back to you, Vit, to manage the questions.
Yeah, thank you, Robbie. Thank you for the presentation and also for the demo. We have a couple of questions in the chat box, so I will read them and please answer. So the first one is, do you have .NET or do you have Net Cloud solution or only named single cloud license? Once more, do you have Net Cloud solution or only named single cloud license?
So the client, it's named cloud license. If you want to, if net, I guess, if I understand the question is that if you want to give your the same license for more than one users as a net, then no, it's a named license and it's not a network license. So each user has to be configured with the different identity in the system.
Thank you. Then Sentinel Admin Control Center is made for ISV or the customer administrator?
Actually, both. There is the admin control center is also used for the ISV who can control the users if you are giving the license control from your premises, or also the end user can manage the access from the admin control center. Just the possibilities are different for the end user. Actually, the end user, it's not a must to use the ACC. There is a possibility to use the license without the ACC and without the RTE as well. And in this case, we are just using a small file which includes the identity string. This is also a possibility if you don't want to let your customers using the ACC, or there is no possibility to use it.
Okay, thank you. Then another one, if the if the end user share his identity string and it is in use, how can he get info about the place of the usage?
Well, he had to contact actually the administrator of the license server, and the administrator can see all the open sessions and from which computer and which IP address it was consumed. And this is the information that can be shared. This is something that the administrator of the license manager, the cloud license manager, has and can see it. So the end user, if when he's trying to connect and getting an error message that somebody is already using the identity, he has to connect and contact the administrator of the cloud license manager.
Thank you. Then one commercial question, which is probably for Hemi, and that's related to pricing of the upgrade to LDK 8.0 and also to the cloud licensing feature. So Hemi, please, can you comment it?
Yes, to upgrade, there is no from former LDK versions, and there is no extra charge. The cloud licensing feature is a paid feature, and of course, everyone who is interested should contact their representative at Thales to get the details. Similarly, is the EMS as a service. Of course, EMS as a service is a paid feature as well.
Okay, thank you. Then another technical, Robbie, what is the link between ACC and EMS?
EMS is the part, is the management where you are creating the licenses. This is your license management application where you can, it looks like this, I can show it to you as well. Okay, so this is the EMS. In the EMS, you have your product and feature catalog here where you are creating your products and including with all the features, and where you can set the type of licensing, for example, if it's a perpetual license or a per purse license or a time-limited license. And you can here create the entitlements for your customers and create actually the license for themselves. So this is the EMS 4. The license manager is actually, once those licenses are created, then the license manager is giving access actually to your software to be used and consume this license.
Thank you. Another one, if I understood correctly, the cloud license can be hosted on any computer on ISV side, correct?
It's correct, of course, in the supported operating systems. We are supporting most of the known operating systems, such as Windows or different distribution of Linux servers. However, of course, there are many operating systems out there which may be not supported by us, but yeah, all the major operating systems are supported.
Thank you. What is the maximum time that a license can be remain detached? And can we create more than one time limit? For example, one license detached for 10 hours and another for 2 days, etc.
So there is this is something that can be set by the administrator for how long it can be detached, what is the maximum number that can be detached. It can be set by the software vendor and by the administrator as well of the end user organization. And in order to set it for different applications, I will review this. I am not 100% sure, so this is something that I will be happy to answer in a mail and to give the accurate answer.
Okay, thank you. What if the client's computer is never online?
Okay, if it's never online, then of course the cloud licensing is not for this scenario. In this scenario, we are suggesting to use the hardware or the standard, the traditional hardware or software key. Depend on the machine that you would like to consume this license and the security that you would like to provide. Of course, the hardware key can be given, without access to the internet. It's a hardware device that you can just give. And so if it's a software, then you can get it from another computer which has access to and activated the software license from another machine which is connected to the internet, and then you can transfer it to the not connected computer via any method like a discount key or a network which is not connected to the internet. This is really depend on the security level of the environment that you have and the question if you would like to use software or hardware key.
Thank you. Regarding protection and licensing for Android applications, is there a way to 100% protect the Android code from reverse engineering? It means obfuscate or similar.
Yeah, so we like to say that there is no 100%. It's, as you know, it's a game between hackers and between us. We're trying to protect as much as possible, and the hackers trying to crack all the different kind of protections. So the answer is no, there is never 100%, but of course we are always using the best methods that are available on the market and from our very experienced security team over the more than 20 years that we are in the market lead in software protection. And the question is usually to make it harder to hackers to crack the software or to reverse engineer your IP and make it less, visible, not just visible for them, but from investment point of view, not worth to invest the time and the facilities that they need for do so.
Thank you. Does it mean for cloud licenses that if a customer have multiple servers with multiple licenses, he needs multiple user identities?
Yes, each server creates automatically the identity keys. So if the same user would like to have a cloud license from separate license servers, in this case, yes, in each server, he has to be registered and receive the identity string.
Thank you. Is it possible to detach license from Linux ARM machine because currently it doesn't run LMACC?
Yes, it is available. Actually, the demo that you saw, the license manager is a Linux ARM.
Okay, good. Thank you. So There are still some questions which we have not answered yet, but since we have just 1 minute left, I would like to thank you for the questions. I promise that we will come back to your questions because we don't want to leave them open. So we will answer them offline and send answers to the ones who asked for the answers. So we will solve it offline. And otherwise, I would like to wrap up. So thank you for attending the webinar. I hope it was useful for you. LDK 8.0 will be released. You will get also notification about the release date. It's basically this week. And we are hoping that you will like the features and also you will use them. So thank you for attending. Thank you, speakers, for presenting your parts, and I'm hoping to meet you soon in another webinar. Thank you.